build our Rattle Can to help deter unwanted behaviors. First, we need to start with an empty pop can. With that said, we're going to take some fillers, let's say some pebbles, and we're going to throw it inside just like that. Throw it right in the can. You can use pebbles, you can use loose change, nuts and bolts, whatever. And you're going to load it up, not too much, maybe about halfway. And then the next step is to take some duct tape. We're going to take the duct tape and we're going to apply it over the top just to seal our can. So as you see here, we've got the finished product. Now the Rattle Can, this is an old technique that we've been using since the early 90s when we were training dogs, and it's great for stopping unwanted behaviors. Everything from destructive chewing, jumping up, aggression, you name it, we can do it with the Rattle Can. Now, the way to use it, this is very important. We don't want the dog to see where the sound emits from. So whenever you use your can, first of all, when you pick it up from its place of confinement, it's very important that you pick it up very quietly. Some people will pick it up like this and don't even think. Now, especially if the dog has had some experience with the can in the past, as soon as it hears a little bit, it will prepare for it. And that's what we don't want. It's called the shock and awe. So when we pick up the can from its place of confinement, we pick it up very quietly. And again, when the dog is not around, obviously, so he doesn't see it being picked up. Now what will happen is we're going to have the can placed behind our back. From there, now we're going to approach our dog, and normally what we do is when we're training the dog using the Rattle Can, we already have the leash preset on the dog. So this way we can keep the whole process controlled. So we would pick up our leash, and depending on what we're working on, it could be, let's say, aggression towards another dog or jumping up on people, we would bring out that particular stimulus. Now, the stimulus comes out, they move towards us. The moment the dog shows the unwanted behavior, what you're going to do is you're going to quickly spin in front of the dog as you hold tight on your leash and shake your can like this, saying no at the same time, and freeze. While I'm freezing, I'm staring at the dog, I'm not saying a word, I'm not moving. Even if the dog is to move to the side, I would chase it with my head, just like that, and turn my body ever so slowly so that the dog doesn't get a chance to see the can. Now, if the dog was to react again to the stimulus, the same thing. No! And freeze. Now, the longer we stare, the more of an impression we make on the dog. I usually stare anywhere from 15 to 30 seconds. The longer, the better. And what it is the dog hears the word no. He also sees you jumping in front of him. We keep a taut line so this way he can't escape the pressure, but he also hears this additional sound. And this is what creates the stress. So we're actually using stress to stop the unwanted behavior. Because we found in the past using things like food or toys or other forms of distraction or bribery, if that, sometimes doesn't work when you're faced with a high value or a high level of stimulus. And so we found the use of the loud noise coupled with our verbal chastisement and the stare down usually works very quickly in the way of extinguishing that type of behavior. Some dogs, it actually works the first time and then that's it. But I would still say every day you set up an actual situation where you put the dog into the situation where it would show the unwanted behavior and then correct it with the use of the can. Other dogs, it may take 2 or 3 times before they put it together. But the key to it is not just the sound of the can, but the way in which everything is presented. So remember, you've got your dog on leash, you've got your can behind your back, you hold the dog tight, the dog sees the stimulus, it acts up, we say no as we turn, shaking our can violently for about 3 seconds, freeze, stare the dog down. After about maybe 10, 15, even 20 seconds, then I stand up straight. At this point in time, I don't praise the dog, I just ignore it. Wait for the dog to either A, show the behavior again, at which time we would rinse and repeat, Or B, if the dog, let's say, goes into avoidance behavior, at that point in time, we would just leave it alone, let it neutralize, or we may even give it a command and help it into position. So we can say sit and guide the dog into a seated position, at which time I would praise the dog for the act of sitting. And that's how you would use your rattle can. And again, the rattle can is one of the techniques or tools that we use in extinguishing unruly behavior. Like I said, anything from excessive jumping, barking, digging, and aggression. But it is the shock and awe. Remember, never let your dog see how this can is being used. All right, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and also to hit that subscribe button on your screen. Until next time, this is your boy Chris. Take care.